Hello, this is Jon Miller, the creator of The Rest of Everest. I think I can safely say that this show is, without a doubt, the most in-depth look into the entire experience of what it takes to climb Everest, as well as some other peaks throughout the Himalayas. But all of the events in the series are shown in chronological order, so if you're new to the show, please go all the way back to episode 000 and watch everything in order. That's truly the best way to enjoy it. Thanks.
This is the Rest of Everest video podcast, an almost unabridged expedition experience.
Episode 106, Cowboys but not Indians.
Hello everyone, welcome back to The Rest of Everest. I'm Jon Miller. This week is going to be the last episode before a hiatus in the episodes because Ben, who is joining me on Skype from Telluride, and Josh, who is also joining me from Telluride, are going to be heading out to the Himalayas for their spring expedition. And we're going to talk more about that in a special episode we will hopefully record in just a few days. But this is being recorded on Sunday, the 5th of April. So yeah, you guys are just getting ready to head out in just under a week.
Totally. Yeah. Look forward to it.
Well, you might remember last week, the expedition changed a bit when Tim decided that he was not going to be going any higher up on the mountain. And the entire team actually headed down back to base camp. I know all of you are really hoping that everyone's going to be hanging out at base camp for at least several episodes in a row, but I'm sorry, actually, you're going to go back up next week. But hey, let's start this episode off. Let's get back to base camp, and let's pick up with the team there at base camp on Annapurna IV.
Cool.
So what are we looking at here then?
Looking
Looks
back
like
up
the North Ridge.
Now, did you guys spend just one night up high after setting up that camp? Or did you spend 2 nights?
Ended up being, 3 nights, I think? Was it
I think it was 2.
No, 2 nights, yeah.
Yeah.
We came straight. After the last footage, we came straight down from that point and broke down part of tent, not all, part of our campsite, not all. We left the tent, and then we skied down with lighter loads. Mm-hmm. The 3 months, that is, back down to base camp, which this day we're drying all of our stuff out, as you can see. Liners from boots, drying on our tents. So my liners, my footbeds.
It's a pretty typical sight. Wet feet, dry tent down at base camp.
Now, had the plan always been to go back down to base camp to restock so that you can bring more gear up the mountain? Or were you actually going to potentially go for the summit?
We were hoping to go for the summit, and when Tim decided that he wasn't up for it, we just came back down, and then the plan was like, all right, we'll leave a tent up there, go back up to it, and bypass it. In which case we didn't. We went up there and just kicked it.
So Ben, what's been going on the last few days?
So we just spent a few days going up the mountain. Good times, had a lot of fun. Tim, Josh, and I went up there, and we pushed it to about 18,800 feet, which is still about 6,000 feet lower than the summit, but a really good initial recon of the mountain. Set up a really nice camp up there at about 17,700 feet, and then got on the mountain, gave it a shot, got up a little higher. We definitely had a really hard day that first day. The skinning was really difficult. Shot a bunch of video of that stuff, but the skinning was like this shoulder deep at times, just nasty, really awful, terrible snow that you'd fall into, and so we threw our skis on. And part of the great thing about coming to Annapurna IV is recognizing that a lot of the people might not know this, but we just kind of go into the mountains looking for solutions. And here people are always complaining, oh, the snow's always so deep, and it's hard to climb, it's technical, and no one really ever gets to the summit of this thing for some reason, it seems like. And so we brought the skis thinking, well, yeah, we wanted to be the first people to ski it, and we already have been because we've already skied it. But we think it's actually going to help us get to the top because of the fact that the snow is so deep. And instead of carrying snowshoes, which don't really help you go down, bringing the skis actually helps you have a lot of fun. So that's really cool. But we went up there and we got to camp, and that night Tim was having some coughing, and we weren't all feeling that great because it was such a hard day getting up there. So we took a rest day the next day, and then got up early about 4:30 the next morning on the 10th, and got our stuff together, got ready to go up the mountain to just go suss things out, trying to go to Camp 2 at around somewhere over 19,800 feet or so. And so we headed out, and we got about 2 hours into it, got to about 18,600, 700 feet, and Tim decided he really didn't want to climb anymore, which was totally cool, because I likened it to kind of catching cancer early. When you come here, if you figure out quickly that you don't want to be on the mountain, you need to go ahead and get yourself off of it. There's no point in risking extra, and days and months or whatever, however long you got here on the mountain, if it's not going to work out and be any fun for you. So we thought that was cool. And then the Austrians have come down off the mountain, so we don't have any fixed lines. There's nothing there, and now we're going to head up there, and it's just going to be the two of us, Josh and myself, and we've done some really hairball cavalier type climbing like this before a few times, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're pretty used to bare bones and no safety net. Not that we're going to go out there and hang it out and be totally wild and crazy or anything, but we recognize we're the only two people on this whole 24,688 foot peak, and this is not your standard sort of Himalayan climbing tactics. Usually you go to the Himalayas and there's at least a few people on the mountain than there used to be, but now they're leaving, and they've stripped the mountain of all the stuff they left on it, which keeps it clean for us and simpler. But we know we need to take a little bit less gear this time. We've looked at the route, we've gotten some information on it and some knowledge, so that's going to help us out a lot. But it's definitely amps up the awareness and sort of connection to the mountain of being smart a little bit more. Definitely brings a little bit more responsibility and knowledge to the equation, and makes it that much more fun. I think it's going to be simple and a good time. So we now prepare to head up there. We're going to set a camp at the very base of the mountain, then we're going to try and go up to a totally unestablished new campsite nobody's been using, camp there, then try and boot all the way up to Camp 3 around 6,500 meters, so somewhere close to 21,500 feet. And my only goal is, it's pretty simple. If we can just get to Camp 3, I'd be really happy. That may not be the case. We might not be able to get up there. It may not be safe. But if we can get up there, that would be awesome. And then start walking. If we make it 10 feet towards the summit, we make it 10 feet. If we make it all the way up there, we make it all the way up there. But the way I feel right now, I got serious friggin' butterflies. I'm thinking about all kinds of different stuff, and pretty much just purging myself of all the emotion that goes into, taking these kinds of endeavors on, and conquering yourself before you can get up there and actually do this in such a way that's clean, feels good physically, and just it's like a walking meditation. Just blow it all out, think about making the next step the best step you possibly can, breathing, and one step at a time getting your way up the mountain. So that's where I'm at right now. It's difficult. We got a lot of stuff sitting around camp, drying out, did some laundry, just trying to keep everything clean, clear, and taking a couple of days to just rest. But me and my infinite wisdom and total light applications, something happened, and I left the satellite phone up at the Camp 1. Josh left the sleeping bag up there. So we were pretty bare bones down here at base camp. But I think that's good. We called home and told people what was going on, so we're good. Austrians let us use their phone, but yeah, I was worried my parents or fiance or somebody would send some enormous, cavalry out here to try and suss out where we are on this mountain and get us off of it, which wouldn't really be that cool at this point, since we're just hanging out here eating cheese pizza and potato chips. All right, and that's all I got.
Doing the crossword puzzle in our Telluride Daily Planet newspaper.
I'd forgotten actually that you guys had left the satellite phone up high.
Yeah. And the GPS got stomped on at some point and broke. Kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Tim says he never does crosswords, but he's doing that one in ink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't have any pencils.
Cowboys, but not Indians.
Now you said that the Austrians came off the mountain. Did they then leave?
Yep.
Yeah, they did. They cruised out. They had enough. The snow was pretty tough, and I can see where if you didn't have skis, you would not enjoy being on that mountain. There's a little avalanche. What are you thinking about there, Butson? Butson Sulphur? Josh Butson, proprietor of Josh Butson's Wart.
What am I thinking about right
I love
now?
all the inside jokes that I just don't get.
Thinking about being patient
He did have a wart.
and just sitting around, resting, relaxing. Just trying to enjoy my time here at base camp with my company. A lot more quiet than it was this morning. We are the last expedition left up here at Annapurna IV base camp, and also Annapurna II base camp. The Austrians left. Got the music in the background right now from our cook tent, from our two wonderful cooks, and just hanging out, watching the wind blow the tent around, watching the big puddle. So can you actually do that? There's a puddle of water right there dripping on everything. Watching the water soak through our tent. So yeah, just enjoying my time here. It's the waiting game, learning what the Himalayas are all about. I've heard that from various people, including Ben, that I'm on the trip with right now, that there's a lot of hurry up and wait, of which, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. It's not something I'm 100% used to. I've definitely, been on trips and had to sit around and wait and wait and wait. But the amount of waiting compared to the amount of climbing you actually do on the mountain, there's a big difference compared to other places I've been around the world, or even the United States. So yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy my time here. It's, I'm warm, I'm fairly dry. Just trying to rehydrate, get some more food. We just had some fabulous chicken for lunch. That was a big surprise. And just waiting around to see what the weather brings later on this afternoon, this evening, and hopefully we'll have some clear weather, and the storms will still only be isolated storms versus having the jet stream come in and disturb our plans, as they're called. But plans are, they're made to be broken, and this trip's proved that. So I'm just trying to enjoy things, and hoping that we'll get a window to be able to head on up, at least Camp 1, hang out there, hopefully be able to move up 2, 3, possibly the summit. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the weather does. We'll see what the snow conditions are like. We'll see if we can make it to the base of the climb at this point. The snow's so deep and so saturated that you just sort of fall through, and you think you're falling through into a crack, but it's just really deep, hollow snow. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm thinking about right now.
I was thinking last night that it was kind of cool that I don't feel any regret or disappointment about not going up, and just thinking about, it's going to be big again. Thinking about you guys going up and what it's going to be like up there for you, and what it's going to be like down here watching you up there. I feel pretty content. I wish the weather was nicer, but I'm thinking about my kids. Just want to talk to them, and mostly just hoping you guys are going to be really safe. And I'm trying to be zen about it and not think about the result, but damn, I hope you guys get up there and summit. That's pretty much it. I'll have a front row seat if the weather's nice.
It's interesting for me to watch you guys, and the energy is completely changed in these interviews, because now it kind of seems to me like you guys know how deep and just what a pain in the butt the snow is up high, and how much work it's going to be to get back up. It's like you're almost like, I don't want to go through that again, but you're going to have to.
Yep. Never stops.
Yeah. It's part of that, and part of it for me also was really bummed out that Tim wasn't going to be able to share in the enjoyment of going up again and maybe getting higher, just seeing what there is higher in the mountain itself.
Is it pretty typical, the type of weather you guys were experiencing? Was it pretty much the same every day? Just kind of...
Yeah. It never really let up. Like, Passan, who was our head cook, was always like, it's never good, it's never bad. Every day, same thing.
Yeah, episode 108, 2 episodes from now, is actually titled Not Bad, Not Good. That was a reoccurring theme.
Yeah.
Sure is beautiful there.
Yeah, it really is. Where was your staff? Were the guys happy that the other team was gone as well?
Yeah, they were hanging out with the other team's cook staff. They were cool folks.
That's good.
Yeah.
Looks
Little steam coming off base camp.
A lot nicer to look around now with the lack of tents scattered everywhere from just that one small expedition itself.
You know, Josh, we kind of just glanced over it in your interview there, but you said that you had chicken this day.
Yeah. Well, there's a big long story behind that chicken.
Oh, really?
Yeah, totally.
I don't know if we can get into it in this episode.
Well, just what I wanted to say about it was that, chicken doesn't just magically appear.
Correct.
So obviously it had to be carried up. So when you get chicken this long into an expedition, it's a lot of effort's been put into getting that chicken. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it actually got flown in for us. Not for us directly, but we bought into some that was being flown into that airport that we could not afford to fly into. They actually brought a bunch of chicken into the village down below where base camp is.
Oh, the chicken co-op, of course.
Yeah,
yes,
of course.
Exactly. And there was 2 of them, but there was a critter, sort of like a pine marten, that came in and actually stole one from actually tunneled through the snow where they had it cooling, and actually took one of them, and then partially ate the other one, and we were able to eat the rest of it.
This is an avalanche debris cloud that is actually coming in.
This was the day of the
all
earthquake
the way from the mountain
in China
last year.
last
There was a huge
year.
avalanche.
And the whole north side of the mountain
You see the
shook, and this
dust.
avalanche came down. This cloud of debris
Incredible.
suddenly hit us.
Woo! Wow.
At this point, I was really happy not to be on the mountain itself.
Wow.
This avalanche debris, dust cloud or snow cloud, came a long ways from where it originated.
Oh, yeah. That is an avalanche. Wow. Wow.
Georgie ran in the tent with me.
Big avalanche, huh?
Yeah, how far away had that debris cloud traveled?
Like a couple miles.
Wow.
Yeah. It crossed a lot of moraine, and the moraine was a lot of
What do you think,
big
Georgie?
rolling hills.
Big.
Just back to work.
Camp was brown a minute ago, and now looks like this thanks to an enormous.
Never a dull moment.
No.
Well, and the expedition that you guys were on before this expedition, months earlier, was right where the avalanche.
Yeah,
Right
it was.
near where the avalanche hit in China.
With the earthquake.
Yeah, excuse me, the earthquake. Yeah, where were you climbing for the Savage Sister series of bonus episodes?
Champingo Valley.
That's right. I'm glad you guys weren't there in spring 2008.
Yeah, no kidding. Wrong place, wrong time.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. We are going to record another episode and get it out next week, but these guys will actually already be in Nepal when I get to broadcast it, when I get to post it to the feed. So through the wonders of technology, we're going to be able to show episode 107, which actually has them going back up the hill. And it's going to be cool because you're going to get to see some more mountaineering. The next few episodes are going to be a lot of mountaineering and a lot of sitting in tents. Not smelling pretty, I guess, is probably what we should say. They were getting rather ripe at this point.
This is true.
But so thanks so much, guys. I really, really appreciate you
thanks,
joining
John.
me. And safe flight, and take care. I'm sure I'll speak with you guys. And we'll give everyone all the information on how to follow these guys in an audio-only episode that I will post later this week. So stay tuned for that, and a lot of great content coming out of the Himalayas this spring. So we'll catch you next week.
All right.
Bye.
The Rest of Everest is downloaded all over the world every day, and watching the show has become a part of many people's weekly routine. The show will always be free to download, but it's by no means free to produce. Please help me cover my costs by making a small monthly or one-time donation from the right sidebar on my website, and in return I'll give you some cool bonus materials. A donation of any amount will grant you access to some interesting video content, including high-definition versions of several podcast episodes. A one-time donation of $25 or more, or any of the monthly donation options, will additionally grant you access to a downloadable version of the film Everest the Other Side, which episodes 1 to 61 are based on. I really cannot express how vital these donations are, and if you've made a donation, thank you so much. As always, our announcer is Marlon May, and our music is provided by Wendy Wu. Check her out at wendywoo.com. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching The Rest of Everest. For more information on the expedition, please visit therestofeverest.com.
Surprise.